He's already got the lead here. Johan Haas remains in second. Now, I know Johan may not take to the Joker, and Connery, I spoke to him about that before the race. He said, if you see the leader take to the Joker and I'm in second, I'm taking to the jump.
It seems like most of everyone else is, at least in the front couple of positions, there has taken to the Joker. John Robinson, though, in the back of the field, he had a massive sideways moment, but he's still able to gather it up and keep going as we head our way to the end of the first lap here. Of course, it's going to be a matter of when Johan Haas decides to take that Joker now after missing it on the first lap, deliberately so, if what he's saying is correct there, Jonathan. But does he do it now?
He has to do it now, otherwise he's going to lose too much time. Now, we know the Subaru doesn't have the best of pace in these track conditions. The track very worn at the moment. Fiesta's the best car to run in these conditions, but it's very hard to get that Fiesta to the feature race, if you understand the irony. He comes out in second, and Cabot, Bigham, look at the lead for Mitchell de Jong. You can't even see him on screen.
Oh yeah, Mitchell's just putting in the consistent laps here. He's got no people contesting his position, so I mean he's in a great spot right now. As long as he just keeps a little margin for error and doesn't bump into anything, he should be clear.
Of course, Cabot is somebody who's raced against Mitchell in the real world. Mitchell proving that you're quick in the real world. These simulators are pretty accurate themselves. You can be quick in the virtual environment. Here is Sammy Matty Trogan. Let's listen to him. Well, Connery, if you ever loved a fat face of tires in your windshield, there you go.
Yeah, Trogan just getting a little bit of a scare there as those tires come up on him rather quickly here, but he's currently sitting in P4, and positions for the picking ahead of him, it has to be said. The race lead may be too far gone at this point unless Mitchell de Jong makes a mistake, but for Trogan, comfortable points on offer, podium finish perhaps, but he needs to pull off the passes.
Now, at this stage, Trogan should still remain in a championship lead.
Oh, no,
what's going on for Haas? Johan Haas spun around. Oh, no. The young man, what's going on? I mean, let's have a look at the replay here, Cabot. Has he hit the tire bollard?
He does. He hits the inside left tire there, just barely. And on the replay there, it's hard to see, but he has a considerable amount of damage to the front of that Subaru.
Oh, I mean, you just could not script this, could you? He could have easily walked away with the championship lead last round. And now Connery, for Johan Haas, the 21-year-old, who was tipped to be definitely the most improved this year. He's got a lot of work to do now in this race. He's currently all the way down in the 9th position.
Yeah, and I've seen throughout this race so many unforced errors when it comes to those tire stacks, left-hand side, right-hand side, no matter which side they're on, coming through those final couple of corners. It's been catching out a good couple of drivers, and in this particular instance, it catches out the driver that runs in P2 in the feature race. That is so unfortunate there for Johan Haas. It was basically all on him. There was no one else around him, and just a single mistake on his own, and he gets cycled all the way to the back. That is horrible.
Now we're watching a nice scrap here between Parisi, Madigan and Zadzon. Now remember, this is the first time we see Parisi and Madigan in a feature race, which is good news. There's the Nerdworks car of Madigan. How fun is that over a jump? How does that feel, Cabot, in the real world? Do you feel like your body's ejecting from basically your skin?
Yeah, no, that's actually the thing I miss the most in the off season, is flying through the air in a rallycross car.
Oh, and that's there's a driver there that's slow. Madigan's taken some avoiding action. I think that looks like Bobby Sant Jr.
Yeah.
Connery.
Yeah, he had a bit of a situation where there was a tire stack just bouncing across the track in front of him, and he actually had to cut the second tire stack, so that meant he had to get had to serve a slowdown penalty coming across the line down in towards turn 1. There's not really all that much he can do about that.
Seems like
man,
the
a bizarre event. Yeah, sorry, Gabbett, go on.
Well, it seems like the pressure's off Madigan a bit, while the Subaru definitely putting it up the inside here, no problems. There's a lot of contact there, though.
Oh, wow. I mean, I didn't think... Is Parisi even on the racetrack? He's just been shoved out of the way. Here's a replay. What's happened here? There's the 39 of Madigan. And, well, at the end of the day, Connery, Parisi, despite making the feature, will probably want to forget this one.
Hopefully Priest doesn't get lost out there like Kimi Räikkönen at Interlagos. But he has been able to find the track and is back out there to finish off the last couple of laps. Though, but battle for P2 though, Josh Fox and Sami Matty Trojan, they went door to door just for a couple of moments there, coming up towards the final lap. Trojan trying to search for that second step on the podium. He might just get it, but where does he do it on this final lap? Oh, he locks up in towards turn 2 there. A very big wide line being taken, but Trojan's still on the charge.
Oh, he's going to try and give a bump and run here. While these two squabble, we'll keep an eye on them and we'll keep the other eye on our 2018 champion, Mitchell de Jong. He'll be our first repeat winner for the series. The VRS Coanda SimSport driver wins from Phoenix.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The championship challenge has dwindled down to 3. Or has it? We only just saw our multiple feature race winner last week for the first time in 2019, and there's 4 rounds to go in this 2019 campaign. So it's time to kick off the beginning of the end as we welcome you to Iowa Speedway, located in central United States of America. And it hosts the 6th round of the 2019 Thrustmaster iRacing Rallycross World Championship, with all coverage on your beloved RaceBot TV, streaming live on the iRacing Esports Network around this 1 kilometer, 0.6 mile layout of Iowa. And how technical does that look? There are 8 of those technical corners out there. It's an anti-clockwise layout, and the lap begins with a simple yet fun dirt section, then a very technical tarmac section through that middle part of the lap. We rejoin the 14 degrees of banking around the final corner here of the oval at Iowa. And then the final corner of the Rallycross layout includes a jump that launches you back across the start-finish straight. Lap times, of course, registered around that half-minute range as usual. Now, the interesting part about Iowa is that the Joker Delta time here is up to around 11 to 13 seconds, depending on track conditions. Good afternoon, everybody. Jonathan Simon on hand in the commentary booth. Randolph Cheneth alongside me. We also have special guest Patrick Sandell behind the scenes. But Randy, first of all, welcome back to Rallycross. We know you were absent last round, but welcome back to Iowa. And it's around, if you remember back to 2018, the first time we visited here, it had one of the most famous races in sim racing history where Garrett Lowe took victory whilst Mitchell de Jong and, of course, Joni Heikkinen were squabbling away for that first place finish.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Johnny. I had a devastating case of the cold last week, but yeah, this track has generated some drama, and it really, I think, all stemmed from that long Joker lap, like Joker shortcut, 11 to 13 seconds. That sort of gets cars out of your rearview mirror, and you kind of forget about them, and I think that's what enabled what happened last season between Mitchell de Jong and Joni Heikkinen, and I think we're going to be in for more of the same of that here today.
And, of course, special guest Patrick Sandell joins us, driver, of course, in the America's Rallycross Series and for Subaru Motorsports USA for 2019. Welcome, Patrick, to the virtual world for the first time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so awesome that you guys brought me on the show. I've been following the racing so far this year, and it looks more real than what we are doing. So, yeah, it's super cool.
And we can't wait till you jump into this. We just spoke about it before the broadcast, but you're into iRacing yourself. You just need more time to dedicate to sim racing, I think.
I know, definitely. Yeah, at some point I will definitely join a race and see if maybe I guess I will start somewhere in the back of the pack because all the kids that are driving are so super fast. But we'll see if I can use some of my rallycross skills to get through the paddock.
And knowing you drive the Subaru WRX in the real world, and it's available on iRacing, and it's the most popular car amongst our World Championship drivers, as we see one of the Subarus in the background of Chepelevsky into the barrier. But most of all, everybody's opting for that Subaru, and it's an exciting car to drive in the real world. But how exciting is it to have that car as a presence in the esports universe?
It's super cool, definitely, for everybody involved, and to see the Subaru on top in the iRacing world as well is just awesome. And it's yeah, it looks to be a good car. A lot of drivers picked it before the season, and yeah, it's super fun.
And you've come on board to the series this year in your partnership with the Apex Racing team and, of course, your own Subaru Winter Experience. So talk to us a bit about Subaru Winter Experience, because it's an exciting adventure for people in North America who might not be able to experience what you're able to in your homegrown Europe town.
Yeah, definitely. So Subaru Winter Experience is kind of a connection between the rally program and the rallycross program and the street cars that they are selling, and it's somewhere in between. So we have created something called Subaru Winter Experience. We drive on a frozen lake in Wisconsin, and people can come there and do different courses. We have 1 day, 2 day, up to 3 day advanced different classes that you can take on, and it kind of brings, you know, that feeling of being a professional rally driver to you, and it's just the best way of learn how to drive, because you pick up so much from car control when you're loose at all time. And it's yeah, that's how I learned how to drive back in the day. It was on a frozen lake in Sweden, and it's cool that we brought that concept over to the States.
Is the lake always frozen in Wisconsin, or is it only during the winter months?
It's only during the winter. It's actually started to freeze yesterday. So
lovely.
Yeah. So, but we will wait until after Christmas before we start to create the tracks, because we need a certain amount of ice so we don't go through and ending up on the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm glad I'm in Australia, because we get the beauty of the summer weather now in the next couple of months, which I'm looking forward to. But for you'll be looking forward to today's race and the rest of the season, because that Apex Racing team you partnered with is not only one of the best sim racing teams in the world, but I think arguably has one of the best rallycross lineups in sim racing this year. You know, you've got Johan Harth, John Robertson, Stelian Chepelevsky, who's raced in the real world, and of course Kevin Carlisle. And it's a partnership, I think, where you could see potentially Johan Harth or John Robertson maybe win the championship in 2019. Should be awesome for you guys.
Absolutely. No, when we got the chance to join this world that I really think is one of the greatest futures of motorsport with our Subaru Winter Experience, we couldn't ending up with a better team, and it's been so much fun to following the guys, and I'm sitting in my sofa sharing and feeling that I'm watching a real rallycross race, so it's just awesome.
And of course, would you ever put any of these drivers in a real car, try and test them out in a Subaru Winter Experience? I'm sure that's something that you're planning to do with these guys. Especially, I'll tell you what, if Johan or John win the championship, you should be giving them a few gift rides in the Subaru Winter Experience.
Definitely. No, we talked about it, and we have invited all the drivers to come up and join us and you know, try their skills in a proper car on a frozen lake. So hopefully some of the drivers will come up this winter, and we're gonna have some fun together. And I'm sure, you know, everything you learn when you play these games nowadays, you can just take it straight into a car, and it all works the same. So if you just keep your head cool, I'm sure they're gonna do fine up on the ice as well.
And finally, your season in iRX for 2019. It was a strong season, wasn't it, for not only yourself and the team, but you had a win at Gateway, the team title, of course, third in the driver's points, and you also scored a podium at the Nitro World Games. But how do you sum up a successful year like that? Are there any words to put it in?
I would say hard work. So nothing comes easy in life, and we've been working very, very hard with the Subaru team since I joined. Me and Chris Atkinson joined 3 years ago, and Scott Speed came on a year ago from now, and with Vermont Sports Car, all the mechanics and the engineers, we've just been trying to get this car to be faster every day, and it kind of clicked in the beginning of the year. We've been waiting for an engine that we have been developing in-house for a long time, and we got it before the season, and that was kind of the final piece to get it all together, and it's been so much fun this year. The car have just been flying on track, and it's been so easy to drive. So yeah, again, hard work, that's the way to sum up the season, but I'm super excited for Subaru that we could give them a lot of wins. We didn't win the championship in the end, the driver's title. Tanner Faust got that one this year, but he kind of deserves it. He's the oldest in the field, so I'm happy for him.
And finally, we have about 20 seconds before we let you go, but Mitchell de Jong is racing out there, and you were teammates with him in Lights in 2017. So how was that, seeing him win the World Championship next year? And if things go his way, I think he could do it in 2019. Any words for him?
Yeah, absolutely. He's such a good driver, and it proves that the two worlds connects very, very well, because he's such an awesome driver, both on iRacing and in the real world.
Awesome. So Patrick Sandell, I can't believe it was that short, but we'll leave you to it, mate. Hopefully we chat again soon. That was Patrick himself, of course, interview here pre-race. But Randy, qualifying's over. We're ready to head to Heat 1. The grid's up at the bottom of the screen, and it looks like Mitchell de Jong, who we were just speaking about, has just scored his first pole position in quite some time.
Yeah, so impressed to see Mitchell take another pole position, and also really impressed with Otto Taskin. And we saw him take the win at Lucas Oil, and here he comes out and he puts it P2 here in qualifying. We got Heat 1 gridding up as the graphics get ready ticks through on the bottom of your screen.
So it's such a tight start at Iowa, of course. Now this circuit, don't forget, you can take the Joker here the first time you approach it, because the way it works in Rallycross is if you cross that start-finish line, you technically begin a lap. So why you can't take that Joker at Sonoma is because the Joker is located before that start-finish line. For anybody who wants to ask that question, there's the answer for you. But nevertheless, our previous winners here have included Garrett Lowe and, of course, Mitchell de Jong last year. It's the third time we visit Iowa in this World Championship for iRacing, and it's always been an exciting event that proves to be pivotal for the championship challenge. Randy, how about this? Joni Heikkinen still yet to join the grid, but how exciting is it to see him and de Jong back at it again at Iowa?
It's going to be great. We haven't really seen the two of them do battle too much this season, and it's going to be great sort of to get some flashbacks from last year as we have all 8 cars on the grid.
Oh, I missed Rallycross again. 7 days later, and we're going to go green for 5 laps of action here from Iowa. De Jong floors it, and he leads the pack away for the first time. How about that V-dub there in the third place? That's Garrett Maines somehow finding a slot there to head into the third position. Joni Heikkinen will be sandwiched by de Jong and Maines himself. Look at this from Garrett Maines. Awesome pass on Heikkinen, and Randy, that forces Heikkinen to the Joker.
It's a relatively clean start here at the start of this. Mitchell de Jong able to get through in the race lead. Joni Heikkinen will Joker as well. He'll settle into second. Daniel Matrani in third, and it's going to be Sammy Matty Trogan in fourth. Those are your drivers that took the shortcut. Garrett Maines will cycle P5. Matt Madigan sixth. Matt Adams in seventh. Then Marcos Matromos will be rounding out the field as they run. But let's see through the infield now for the first time for your race leading cars. First time that they've really taken this tight sector on the asphalt.
Now it's about 11 seconds, we said, the Joker Delta, and Maines is going to take to the Joker. You'll see him. Well, we're about to see him at the top of the screen. We ride on board with de Jong, and there is Garrett Maines filing in now alongside Heikkinen for the second position. Remember, only your top 2 head to the feature race from this event, and this is critical for Joni Heikkinen. Luckily there, Randy, and I tell you skillfully, still ends out ahead of Garrett Maines.
I didn't really like that from Garrett Maines. I thought he should have maybe milked the clean track that he had for at least a couple of more laps, but maybe he felt he didn't have the sort of pace on Joni Heikkinen to keep up and felt he had to joker early, but he's going to settle into P3, and now he's going to feel the pressure from Daniel Matrani behind as they work through the hairpin. Oh, I'm going to lie on that one. Sammy Matty Trogan gets into Fenalosa in the background. Daniel's able to hold on to that car. Looks like he might have some bent steering, the way that it was sort of sliding on the on the apron of the banking, but a little bit of contact there, and that's going to open up the gap there between those couple of drivers. Now we just have to wait for our last couple drivers to come off the joker. That's going to be Matt Madigan and Marcos Mataromos.
Yep, and this is critical for the championship, don't forget. Sammy Matty Trogan comes in to round 6 of 9 here with a 16-point lead over Williams Esports' Josh Fox. Now, Sammy Matty Trogan, some info on him, Randy. He's racing from South Africa. He's currently there for the real-world FIA World Rallycross Series. He's racing in iRX2 this year. So it's really exciting that they've got an entire sim there built for him, and it reminds me of De Jong at Sonoma last year.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is sort of an unfortunate situation here, but final lap, and here comes your race leaders. They're going to go all past the joker. Your top 6 have all taken to the shortcut already. Eyes have to be on this man, the 39 of Matt Madigan, about where he's going to cycle out. He's 15 seconds off the race lead, so surely shouldn't be anywhere near, close, and that is going to be the situation as De Jong gets ready to come through and takes the victory in heat number 1.
And De Jong will head straight through to the feature. And look at this last lap tussle off screen at the moment. But De Jong wins Heat 1. Heikkinen second. Maines will head to the consolation races. Trogan ends up in 6th at the end of the day. Now, Randy, the tough part for Sammy Matty Trogan is he needs a lot of time in that sim. It's going to be ever tough to get used to a new cockpit when it's not the one you drive at home.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's going to be the big learning curve for him today. Not, running in a rig that he's not used to, but that's not great as we get ready to go to the starting grid as well for heat race number 2 that ticks away on the bottom of the screen. But points leader Sammy Matty Trogan not getting the freebie into the feature event. And let's be interesting to see if that maybe continues for some of the other championship competitors as well.
And a lot of contenders here for a race win or race victory. How about the championship too? Josh Fox, as we said, second in the championship, still yet to take a feature race victory this season. How about Garrett Lowe, the first ever winner at Iowa for the Rallycross World Championship for iRacing? Heat 2 is underway, and already a poor start from Taskinen, and he put off a block there, it looked like, on Josh Fox just to cover the inside. Garrett Lowe maintains the outside line, and look at Josh Fox. He's scrambled, he's sandwiched, and he somehow keeps it clean.
Drivers are going to be fighting for the joker here on the opening lap. Garrett Lowe does not take it. Kevin Carlisle is going to take it. Race leader Otto Taskinen's going to hit the shortcut as well. Tommy Hallman has his hands full with John Robertson in the background, but again, it's about a 50-50 split, Johnny, on the opening lap. Half the field jokers, half the field doesn't.
Yeah, it's a tough strategy, isn't it? How about Tommy Hallman? It looked like he was on the brakes there through the final corner. And that's Hallman right behind John Robertson, who's also mathematically still in contention for this championship too. But for the moment, you'll see at the top of the screen, the red X means all those drivers are yet to take to the joker. The green tick means they have. And for the moment, your top 4 have taken to it. How about Jorgi Zadzon, surprisingly up in a 3rd?
Yep, so he'll take the shortcut, and he'll be a couple seconds off those sort of leading cars in front of them, though. Both Otto Taskinen and Kevin Carlisle are safe. First car that could hypothetically joker and maybe challenge for the lead is going to be the 6 of Garrett Lowe at the moment. We'll get an idea of what those gaps are when he comes across start-finish to update the timing, but he's the only one that's sort of within range. He'll come across start-finish in 11.7 seconds. We've been hearing 11 to 13 on the joker delta, so he's right there in the window, and Josh Fox behind is going to joker. He might settle into about 2nd or 3rd.
Oh, this is critical for the championship. Fox needs to head through to the feature. And had it not been for that block by Taskinen... Oh, he's been turned around! Fox was almost... He has been turned around. He's into the wall. He's going to miss the jump. How rarely do you see that? Somebody missing the jump. And this is critical for the championship for Josh Fox.
I'm not really sure what Kevin Carlisle was trying to make work there. There was never going to be a gap up the inside, but some reason, the Apex Racing Team car slotted itself up the inside. Now, Garrett Lowe is still in the window, 11.7 seconds back off the race leader. So he's about 3 to 4 tenths closer to the likes of Taskinen and Carlisle than we saw Josh Fox when he ended up jokering. So Garrett Lowe, he's going to save it for the white flag lap. He's going to run every lap he can in this clean air, and be interesting to see, can he get up there and potentially rob a transfer position away from Kevin Carlisle? He's only 9 seconds back off the number 72, so I think it's likely that we see Garrett Lowe transfer directly to the show here.
Let's see what happens. Garrett Lowe to the Joker right now. We've seen drivers hit the wall here, and Garrett Lowe again. Oh, he just somehow makes it work, doesn't he? He loves Iowa. And it pays off once again. Garrett Lowe straight through to the feature along with Taskinen here. As well, they got to maneuver the jump, but they'll do that cleanly for sure. And what a brilliant shot that is as your two finishers make it through. Now, John Robertson at the end of the day. Oh, look at Fox there, just tripping over himself as he crosses the line. Robertson ended up in 7th there. Now, Robertson had a qualifying ban, Randy, because of an incident with Bobby Sant Jr. at the last round at Phoenix.
Yeah, so definitely not the way you want to start off your days, especially with how important qualifying is here, as heat race number 3 is getting ready to kick off. When we take a look at your starting grid here, great qualifying from Bobby Zielinski, 3rd quickest, and he'll start on the pole for our 3rd and final heat of the night.
Now, I'm getting a bit intrigued by this. Normally, your Apex cars are quick in qualifying, and then they struggle during the races. So let's see now, with the Apex cars not qualifying that well this round, maybe they'll head a little bit better here, but only 2 may head to the feature. And yet again, look at the inside line of Zelensky. Block Johan Hart. Hart is turned around. He can't afford another DNF for himself. And as they head through to the first couple of corners, it's Zelensky from Chepelevsky. Adria Perez, the Spaniard, is in 3rd. Hart has just been barged down all the way to last place, I think.
Yeah, so unfortunate there for Johan Hart. As he said, he had issues a couple of weeks back, didn't make the feature event, and that's why he's got this 57-point deficit to Sammy Matty Trogan, and he desperately wants to make up some of those points. But Zelensky, he jokered on the opening lap. Adria Perez jokered on the opening lap, and I believe Cedric Gesmeyer did as well. Rest of the field, I don't think is taking to the shortcut just yet. So as we got a 3-car scrap actually in the background of the field, Michael Guest duking it out with Johan Hart and Connor Parisi as they drop back down into the infield. And look at that move from Johan Hart up the inside. He's going to gain a position, but he's losing tons of time, surely.
And Stephen Bradbury is Connor Parisi, finds his way through, and that's a brilliant joker by Hart now to finally get himself out of that unnecessary traffic. But look how far behind he is here from your top 3 of Zelensky, Chepelevsky, and Perez. I thought Perez, now off camera, was going to have a look at Chepelevsky for that 2nd position, but they all continue away. Now, the thing I find here, Randy, is I just watched Johan Hart's entire first lap here on the 2nd screen. I've never seen someone be bullied more in a rallycross lap than I just saw.
I'm sure you can find some examples, but you're right. It was definitely physical there for Johan Hart, that he definitely got shook around as the likes of Cedric Gesmeyer and Johan Hart, they actually continue to fight, and Johan's going to hold off Cedric Gesmeyer here and hang on to that 4th spot. I thought maybe for a moment Cedric might be sending a move up the inside there into that tight hairpin that drops you back down to the infield. It sort of seems like a good passing opportunity, but it really isn't, just the way the track is profiled, as your top few cars are all stacked up on one another. Chepelevsky's done well to reel in Bobby Zielinski, and these guys need to be careful, Johnny. We've seen it here at Iowa in the past. Nathan Lyon right now is 12 seconds back, still needs to take to the shortcut. If these two start racing one another, they could open the door for the 47.
I think Chepelevsky's too smart for that, though. He's definitely a veteran, as we know, in the rallycross world, has rally experience in the real world as the Bulgarian. And he knows he can't afford to fight here with the VRS Commander SimSport driver of Zelensky. And it looks like the American is going to lead this first lap. Chepelevsky in 2nd, but we've got to keep eyes on Nathan Lyon. Michael Guest behind. Of course, Michael Guest is out of this for sure, but where's Nathan Lyon? He takes to the Joker right now, and he's got a shot here at the 2nd position, and he slots ahead of Chepelevsky. Chepelevsky's been too slow. I think he's had some issues on this final lap.
I think you're right, and they're going to come through this final sequence, and Nathan Lyon is going to get gifted a transfer spot.
Believe it or not, with Zelensky through to the feature, that is the first feature race this season for Nathan Lyon. It's just been an abysmal 2019 campaign for him, but Chepelevsky, Perez, and company, the rest of them below, will head straight through to the Consolation races. Now we look at the first Consolation grid for the day in just a few moments' time. Mains, Chepelevsky, of course, will race straight away in this one, but Josh Fox, our championship runner-up at the moment. It's not finished, of course, but he'll start all the way down from 6th, Randy, and you have to plan out your strategies at the start here at Iowa because it can get ever so chaotic.
Yeah, you're right. He has to be smart here, and he needs to be aggressive, but he has to be smart. You don't want to get yourself caught up in an issue trying to make all the positions you're currently starting back in the field up at once. You do that, you guarantee that you don't go to the feature event a little bit later on. But we got all cars on the grid. We have a tight turn one. This is going to be insane.
So 5 laps as usual for the Consolation races. The top 2 will head to the feature. And we go green from Iowa yet again. Oh, what a classic block there from our leader in the first position of Garrett Mains. He's almost spun around. The V-Dub will lead so far here, ahead of Bobby Sant Jr., but Chepelevsky's hungry for the second position in that Subaru. Chepelevsky into second. None of the leaders opt for the Joker. That's surprising.
It's definitely interesting. I like it if you like the Garrett Mains. I think this is one of those tracks where if you're the leading car, you don't have to take to the Joker early, but those cars second, third, fourth, they surely should be trying to get themselves out into clean air, and this is why. Stilly and Chepelevsky and Garrett Mains, they make contact with one another, and that's the big thing, Johnny. They're just going to be giving up time every single little time they touch like that. Now, of course, they're still going to be represented as probably the closest to challenge the drivers who took the shortcut, but they cannot afford to just be giving time away, as right now the 12 of Josh Fox, because of the way everything's worked out, he currently sits in a transfer spot because we're waiting on half the field to take the shortcut still.
Exactly. Josh Fox hasn't won a feature race this season, only has 1 feature race win to his name, of course, and he achieved that at Lucas Oil last year. Made the switch to the Subaru. Josh Fox originally ran the VW, but made the switch to the Subaru midway through last year. Now, the rules say this season you can only stick with 1 car make, but this is critical right now. Mains is in first after the Joker, Sant Jr. second. At the moment, Josh Fox won't make the feature, and that's the race that pays the most points.
Yeah, it definitely has, and looking at the deltas right now, John, and we know that Joker is usually 11 to 13 seconds, but right now, from what we've seen tonight, 11 seems to be closer to the standard, and Stilly and Chepelevsky 11.8 seconds back off the one of Garrett Mains. Bobby Sant Jr. has settled into that second spot ahead of Josh Fox. Oh yeah, we got a car that missed the jump and actually hit the timing beam. That was Matt Madigan.
Matthew Madigan, who made his first feature race last week at Phoenix, is out here. And we say goodbye to him for round 6. That eases the pressure off Josh Fox. But with a lap and a half to go, this could make or break Josh Fox's championship here, these next 30 seconds.
Definitely could, as Bobby Sant Jr. big slide as he drops down into the infield. Saw him have a fantastic run at Fairbury in the finale round of the USAC World Championship presented by Flow Racing through this infield sector for the first time. He pressures Garrett Mains, maybe trying to force him into a mistake so he gets some breathing room, as it's going to be the 15 of Stilly and Chepelevsky. He's the one to watch. He's closest to the window to maybe assault these two on the shortcut, and he's taking it this time for sure.
Can he do it though? The Bulgarian with a rapid. He hits the wall just like he did last year here at the Joker at Iowa. But it's not going to be enough, I think, for the ART Subaru Winter Experience driver. And of course, Patrick Sandell, who we interviewed earlier on before qualifying, will be a bit disappointed with that. He was wishing Chepelevsky could make it through, but it's going to be Garrett Mains, Bobby Sant Jr. to the Joker, to the feature race, excuse me. But the biggest news is Josh Fox, our championship second place position at the moment, that was poorly phrased, is gonna be out, and he is confirmed not gonna score a strong haul of points for himself. Goodness me. Here's the second Consolation race grid at the bottom of the screen. Now, Randy, if Sami Madi-Trogan or Johan Harth don't make it, this could be critical for Mitchell de Jong. Let's have a look at the race start. The engines rev, the lights illuminate. We go green yet again, and a rapid start from the Set Esports driver of Sammy Matty Trogan. He's turned around here at the start. He almost just basically, it looks like ping pong between himself and Daniel Matrani, and he's going to find a way through somehow, but it's Carlisle who leads for the moment, and the American hasn't had the best of seasons. He needs all the luck on his side and takes to the Joker here on the opening lap.
Pandemonium there at the start. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I've noticed a lot of pole sitters, Johnny, right at the start of the race. They're turning the car to the right, trying to block that inside line. And I think that's what just caused that stack up that we just saw. So we get cars strung out here on the opening lap. We'll try to get a head count of who maybe took to the shortcut, who didn't, and who's maybe in the window that we need to keep an eye on. But I think Johan Hart, I think he got caught up in that drama. He's going to be well and truly down the running order as we'll come through. And right now it looks like it's Daniel Matrani Finalosa. He's going to be the first car who has not taken to the Joker, but he's about 2 seconds out of the shortcut window to be potentially be able to jump that second place running car of Sammy Matty Trogan.
Oh, this is so bizarre this round at Iowa. It always is a lottery sometimes. So if Sammy Matty Trogan doesn't make it through, or John Robertson, or Johan Hart for the feature, this Randy could promote Mitchell de Jong back in contention for the championship despite missing 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, that just speaks to the consistency that Mitchell has when he turns up and races in these events. He is, I believe, the most consistent driver in these cars and in this championship, and I don't think it's even close. As we see the likes of Adria Perez and I think who's that in front of him, Matt Adams, they swap positions a couple times as they work through the banking. Let's see if there's anyone thinking of shortcuts this next time around. It's going to be interesting to see as Carlisle and Trogan are still close. Trogan seems a little bit quicker, but he's not really pressuring Kevin Carlisle too much. He should know he's relatively safe here with a lap and a half to go.
Oh man, I'm struggling to keep up, Randy. I don't know about you, but Carlisle leads. Trogan second. Who's in third at the moment? John Robertson. I'm assuming everyone at home is probably pulling their hair out at me right now saying, well, get your head in, Johnny. But nevertheless, though, we see the Joker's taken at the top of the screen. I think Trogan's going to be all right, depending on where this Joker ends up. I don't think Daniel Matrani is close enough.
I'll have to see. I'm checking the lap times. It's a 36.484 for Sammy Matty Trogan. Last trip around the racetrack. Fenolosa comes now, and he does a 36.1. So that Volkswagen is hooked up, and it is fast, but he's got to take the shortcut this time, and he is out of laps. Through the shortcut goes Daniel Matrani Fenolosa. He finds the outside wall, and he's going to be well short.
No, that's John Robertson behind. Robertson's probably going to be eliminated. And, of course, Daniel Matrani is going to be eliminated. But for Kevin Carlisle, he heads through to the feature. How beautiful does that sound for the American? He's ever so loved in the Rallycross community on iRacing. He does so much for him, even produces some of the baseline setups you might run in this car. But critically for our championship leader of Sammy Matty Trogan, racing from South Africa, and he makes it through to the feature. Now, Randy, I believe that Sammy Matty Trogan, I think he's going to get quicker and quicker the more this event progresses.
That's going to be hard to say because we know that as the race goes on, Johnny, that typically you see those Subarus kind of fall out of favor. And I think we have 3 non-Subarus in this race, and they're all kind of starting okay. You have Garrett Lowe that's starting in the middle of the pack, Nathan Lyon just behind him in 6th. So if there's a pace drop-off with the Subarus as the track has gotten a bit more packed in, this might be sort of the race that these guys in the sort of off-marquee, you might argue, for Ford and Volkswagen might be able to come out and take advantage. On top of that, Sammy Matty Trogan starting at the back of the grid, and we've seen drama at the start of these races pretty much all day here, Johnny. The first couple heats were clean, but after the third heat, both the LCQs had drama at turn 1. And the last thing you want when there's likely to be drama at turn 1 is for all of it to be happening in front of you.
And that's great news that Nathan Lyon has made the feature race today. Last year, Randy, we had 11 rounds in the championship. Nathan Lyon was in 8 of the feature races. It's round 6 of 9 today for 2019, and this is his first feature race appearance for the season.
Yeah, it's not been a great year for Nathan Lyon now, has it? But still, he's going to come in and he'll be tagging the mid pack of this field, and going to be an opportunity for him to show that he still has what it's got. So much of this championship is kind of luck and fortune, isn't it? To make sure, if you don't, get touched at the wrong time in one of these races or turned around or spun around, these races aren't long enough. One mistake, you can drop down to the LCQ, and as stacked as the season is this year, it's not a guarantee to transfer out of an LCQ the way it may have been last year with the time zone switch. So I think that's part of the reason we're seeing Nathan struggle a little bit, but he's got an opportunity to prove that he's still got the speed here, right now, as we're getting ready to set to the starting grid.
Yep, and last thing, Randy, before we head to the grid, is I would have assumed that with USAC finishing for 2019, that Josh Fox would have fared a little bit better today, but I guess Rallycross is very luck-based sometimes.
It can be a little bit. Thing is that USAC only just finished on Wednesday, so next week I think he'll have the advantage, but he was still having to practice for it this past weekend on the run-up to Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Well, let's have a look at your feature race grid. Mitchell de Jong. He won't claim the championship lead this round for sure, mathematically, but he could still win this championship if things go his way. How about Otto Taskinen in second? Bobby Zelensky, his teammate there, Mitchell de Jong, starts on pole. He starts from the third position quite well. Then it's Heikkinen, Lowe, and Lyon. Of course, Garrett Maines will start back in the order, along with Kevin Carlisle, Bobby Sant Jr., and our championship leader of Sami Matti Trogan for Set Esports, racing from South Africa. He's fared really well today in the FIA World Rallycross Championship. He's racing an iRX 2, and he's going to be racing tomorrow in the semi-finals and other events. So good luck, of course, to the Finn. But it's going to be 10 laps as usual for our feature race. One joker available to the drivers. We go green from Iowa for the final time. And a brilliant getaway by the VRS Coanda SimSport driver of de Jong. Taskinen there. He's got no grip on the outside line. And look at that mad scramble of cars screaming over the jump for the first time. It looks like a clean start so far. De Jong to the joker. Zelensky continues.
This VRS Coanda 1-2 as they headed to the shortcut, but they each do something different. Mitchell de Jong, he will lead the train of cars. There's currently only 2 cars strong that is taken to the shortcut of Mitchell de Jong. Is actually, we got Sami Matti Trogan. He's turned around. That could be very important for your championship leader. He'll surely probably come home 8th or 9th at best.
Yep, critical. He has to complete the first lap here. So we look at the replay there. He just collides with one of the V-dubs. But if he completes the first lap, he'll score enough of those points here for the feature race, because we've seen in the past that drivers aren't able to do it and they DNF, but critically he crosses the line and it's all good. Now joker for Zelensky, and he'll rejoin right behind his teammate. How fitting would it be for 2 VRS Coanda SimSport drivers to finish 1-2?
Yeah, that would be, they've yet to really have a performance like that in this championship. We saw a couple of Coanda drivers last year as we keep an eye on this 3-car scrap between, see all 3 marquees represented, a Subaru, a Ford, and a Volkswagen. See Bobby Sant Jr. at the head of that train right now, Garrett Lowe, Garrett Maines behind. As they working over the jump here in the infield sector. But Coanda's not had that sort of success in this championship, Johnny, outside of Mitchell de Jong coming into this year. Bobby's shown some pace, but has had some consistency issues, and luck's not really been on his side. But even last year, the other Coanda drivers beyond Mitchell, they just weren't very consistent and honestly weren't very good.
And of course, we know the joker here is about 11 to 13 seconds. Track conditions, look how worn that track is getting here in the feature. So plenty of grip available for the joker as we ride on board here with the Set Esports driver. The joker's there to the right-hand side, and that skips most of this infield section here. Now, Joni Heikkinen, of course, we'll remember him squabbling away with de Jong through this sector of the racetrack. That cost him a potential victory last season, but now through this tight left hairpin, and of course the 14 degrees of banking available at Iowa. So who do you see so far in good contention for the win, Randy? I think Taskinen's closest here in third for the Positive Sim Racing.
Possibly, but I mean, between de Jong and Zelensky, I think it's going to be a big ask. Right now, we look at Sami Matti Trogan, who is well and truly down the running order right now. He cycled up into 7th. Looked like we may have had some drama between Lyon and the other. Actually, no, I take that back. Sammy's taken to the shortcut, but no one's in the shortcut window right now. Nathan Lyon's 14 seconds off the race lead, Johnny, and we've seen this joker all day. It's sort of sat at the, it's sat at the lower end of the spectrum of about 11-second short shortcut all day long. Nathan's got to somehow, some way reel in 3 seconds before we Jokers have any hope of keeping up with any of the top two. I think it's looking like a Mitchell DeYoung victory at the moment, as we're going to have 4 to go.
He's always been strong at Iowa, has DeYoung. And teammate Zelensky there. We ride on board with him through this tough infield section here and floors the throttle to the final corner. And then the jump is ever so thrilling here. Let's have a listen to him. Now the trick is in Rallycross there through the jump, Randy, is that if you just dab the brake, and it works in the real world too, you can dip that front nose down and it gets that car planted to the tarmac quicker, which means you're going to go faster in terms of lap time.
Yep, it's all centrifugal force there when you're in the air. You tap the brakes, it gets the wheel slowing down, and that centrifugal force will dip the nose forward. You blip the throttle as well, and that'll bring the car backwards. You can do it in the Rallycross cars. You don't really get big air in the Rallycross cars. See, actually, in the background, Nathan Lyon, he was the only one that was in the window. He takes the shortcut, and he's going to be side by side with Otto Taskinen as they drop off the banking, but won't be able to hold on to it. So move Nathan Lyon back in towards P4, which is where I think he will settle. But you can really do that, actually, in the off-road trucks we have, Johnny. Those have a much longer suspension travel. The circuits they run on, you can get a lot more air, and you really play with those things as they fly through the air, which is a ton of fun, similar to the sort of racing Mitchell DeYoung actually comes from before we got into Rallycross. But we're coming up on 2 laps to go, and looks like just Coanda domination.
Yeah, we had all the drama in the heats and the consolation races. If you're watching this feature race, definitely check out the other races beforehand. It was probably the most drama we've had, I reckon, in 2019 for an event, and it's all just sort of stagnated here for the feature. We got 2 laps to go here. DeYoung looks like he's sailing towards his 3rd feature race victory for the season, and Randy, he just became our first multiple feature race winner last round, and he's done it again here. Do you think this guy can be stopped?
No, and I still think he's in it for the championship, to be honest. I think Mitchell's just too consistent.
Oh,
You see these guys, Nathan Lyon involved with that. That's Otto Taskinen and Nathan Lyon. They come, push comes to shove there. Otto up the inside, and Nathan's going to give him the space there wisely. Didn't really see what happened there. Not sure if that's Nathan being over-aggressive or maybe Otto being a bit silly and trying to shut the door on the driver, kind of slide up the inside. But Nathan finds himself a podium position here, and see the American drivers wants to round out the podium as Mitchell gets ready to hit the last couple of corners here at Iowa.
Brilliant race from Mitchell DeYoung as we see Lyon just bully his way past the fin there of Taskinen. Nathan Lyon with his best result of the season. But for Mitchell DeYoung, he's going to win 3 feature race wins for 2019, and he takes victory at Iowa yet again here. The VRS Coanda SimSport team celebrate with a 1-2 finish, their first in Rallycross on iRacing. What a thrilling result with Zelensky coming home in 2nd. Now Lyon on the podium there. Not a career best result, but a career tying result there for Nathan Lyon in 3rd. And of course, Kevin Carlisle with 6th, of course, gets a career best result for himself in the feature. The rookie driving quite well, but for Sammy Matty Trogan, it's damage limitation in the 10th position as we look at the results on screen. Still a good haul of points for him, Randy, and he extends his championship lead surprisingly with that.
Yeah, I mean, he does over a couple drivers, but I think he needs to be a bit nervous. I'm still looking at this number 24 as a potential championship hopeful. Just too good, too consistent, and he's yet to miss a feature race for when he's turned up for one of these events. So Mitchell DeYoung, easily the man to beat right now, I think. And Samuel extend a championship lead over the likes of Josh Fox and Johan Hart, but not over the man who ended up winning today. Also John Robertson, who sits 4th, but he won't be 4th after today. Move Mitchell DeYoung at least up into 4th. Actually, could Mitchell jump 3rd or 2nd? Yeah.
He scored 84 today. So Mitchell DeYoung scored the maximum you can score in Rallycross. 6 points for pole, 8 for winning the feature, and then 8 for winning the heat, 70 for the feature. So can we do math on the spot, Randy? Probably not.
8 for the heat, 6 for the qualifying, and then 70
84.
for the main. Yeah, 70
84.
plus 8 plus 6.
I'm too nervous, man.
An Australian and an American try to do math on a broadcast.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, anyway, there are the results on screen, and you can see a brilliant 1-2 result for the VRS Coanda SimSport team. And we will speak to race winner Mitchell de Jong, who came home with his third feature race victory for 2019. And of course, Mitchell, how about that? We were just discussing it. You scored a maximum 84 points here today. And believe it or not, now you're in contention for the championship again.
Yeah, it's crazy how things have kind of shifted. Feels really good to get a maximum point scoring event, much better than Phoenix, which was already really good. So, man, what can I say? The first heat race was a little sketchy. I had some issues on the start. The car started rolling backwards. I have no idea what happened, but we kind of survived that. And yeah, no, honestly, I have to say it's like really cool to see Bobby also finally get a clean run, get to show kind of the pace that he has. So just a great team result. Really feels good to get some more points, get a third win, and yeah, continue that fight back. So.
And do you just seem to, I mean, why do you go so well here? Do you understand why? Have you done the research? Because the first time we came here, we know Garrett Lowe took victory, but I mean, you know, you were awesome. You were so quick around here. You obviously won the second feature race here in 2018. And now you've done it again, you know. I'm not sure if it's maybe you just seem to manage the tarmac sections better than everybody else. Is it a bit of luck?
This is definitely, without a doubt, my favorite track. It's so technical. The hairpins are so hard to get right. It's so hard to actually just hit your apexes. You know, the dirt isn't as big of an issue like when the track wears in as other tracks. So it's also a lot more consistent, and less kind of random with things going wrong. So I don't know. I just, even from when Rallycross first came out, this is just instantly was my favorite track. So yeah, it just, I guess it suits me well. Bobby's also great here, and you know, just no complaints.
And I'm going to do a quick estimate. I believe you'd still be, now the points aren't updated yet, but you'd be about maybe 60, 70 points off Sami Trogan for the championship lead. But knowing that the likes of Josh Fox, Hearth, who else, Robertson didn't make the feature today, Sami Trogan was one position away from not making the feature. So I think with if you keep going the way you go, like we said, like, are you thinking about championship already? Or obviously, I'd assume you're going to give the political answer of saying you're just taking it race by race.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you hear that you're making improvements, and now that it's actually like within an event's range of, you know, someone not making the final, and that completely changes everything. You know, this series is so hard. If you make the final, you get a really solid amount of points, but it's really easy for it to go wrong and to not make it. So, you know, me in the heat race, I get a tap into turn one, and, you know, I'm out wide, and I have a good chance of not making it either. So, you know, in this series, you just can't like predict it so hard. I'm still way behind. I still need to keep putting in like race wins. I need other people to have bad luck still. So I'm going to do my best. I'm really excited now that it's, you know, within that grasping range. So, you know, we'll see. We'll give it everything we have.
And we're going to hear this twice today, but who gets it done for you in that VRS Coanda Sim Sport machine?
Yeah, of course, everyone at Coanda, my personal sponsor, Red Bull, Virtual Racing School, and we're Design, SimQuip, FeeTech, and of course you guys, RaceSpot, for putting the broadcast on for us.
Awesome. So great to speak again, Mitchell. I feel like I'm going to run out of interview questions for you, mate, if you keep coming here in first place. But there he is, the American, and race in the real world, X Games gold medalist, Randy. And we could be saying multiple champion here in, well, defending champion in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, just due to such a phenomenal campaign he's having in 2019.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, but teammate Bobby Zielinski ends up coming home in the second spot. And Bobby, I know you have to be pleased with yourself on this one. You finally, I know you've said all year that you've just not had good fortune whatsoever. You've always, you know, it seems like at the start you're the car, at least, you know, one of the cars getting collected, or it happens in the heat race and you don't even make it to the feature event. But you finally come home with a second and get your team's first ever 1-2 finish here in this championship. I'm sure that has to feel nice.
Yeah, it's really great. It felt really good to be close to Mitchell's pace. Obviously, he was faster, but you know, it was awesome to finish 1-2 with him and pretty much be that close. I think that's the closest I've ever been to his pace. But that was kind of our goal. That was a 1-2. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, now, how did it feel for you guys, at least out there in the feature? Because, you here in the commentary booth, there was all this drama in the heat races and championship contenders, not transferring directly to the feature event, either through the heats or the LCQs, but either the C or the B main. We saw it with a couple of the drivers, and there was all sorts of drama, and there were close situations with the Joker that were coming down to the final lap. And how did it feel for you guys? It felt like you guys got out there in the feature. There was a bit of a pile up at the start, and after that, just seemed like everything kind of strung out. Were you guys really worried about anyone jokering? Or I know you guys at Coanda, you have a lot of people that work behind the scenes. Did you guys know you were relatively safe?
Well, yeah, coming in, we felt confident. Pretty confident. I mean, I really wanted a 1-2 out of the day, and we got one. And we, once we were 1-2 out of the start worked perfectly for us. And he took the Joker first lap, I took it next lap, and we came out 1-2, and Otto was behind me, and we pretty much knew as long as we didn't mess up our line or miss an apex here or there really badly, missed the line in the dirt, we were going to come home 1-2, just because of kind of how things played out. You look in your relative and you see pretty much if they're 11 or more seconds back, or more than 11 seconds back, you're safe from a cut. So it was a pretty straightforward race for us, which is great because this is such a wild series. You don't get that very often as a driver where you can just drive and come home with a good finish. Obviously, I wanted to win, but Mitchell was the better man today. And yeah, it feels good to start making some features. The 2 I missed. I mean, I did get misfortune, like you said, but it all starts with me making a mistake at the beginning and qualifying or something, and all that. So we're satisfied. This is what we wanted. Hopefully we can keep it up.
First repeat of the season. You could argue the only repeat of the season, is it's the only exact layout that we run twice this season. Sonoma next week, how do you guys feel? I'm sure confident.
Mitchell missed the first Sonoma, but we're going to feel pretty confident going into there. We think we figured out some stuff for Sonoma that we didn't have it figured out before. We just didn't understand as good. And then after watching, the last time we went to Sonoma with Johan dominating, we kind of learned some things. So, we're going to go there, give it our best shot. I'm not calling a win or anything, but we're going to go there and do our best like always. And yeah, hopefully another 1-2, or one of us in victory lane would be amazing. But, this series, it's wild. It's unpredictable. So really, the goal is just to try to make the feature.
Second verse, same out of the first. Who gets it done for that VRS Coanda Sim Sport group?
Yeah, everyone at Coanda. Mitchell's a great teammate. I've improved a lot on my driving since coming here, which was expected. I was expecting that because, he's great at explaining, why certain lines work and why he's fast. So that helped me a bunch. And then everyone, virtual racing school, big partner there of mine and the team. I'm just satisfied, man.
Go ahead.
I'm just satisfied.
Hey, that's completely fine with me. So congratulations to you, Bobby, on a great second place finish. Good luck for the track you've dominated at and peaked the last few years out of Sonoma next week.
Yeah, I need to learn how to do that in the Rallycross course.
Well, half the track goes the wrong way, so I think that's why it doesn't make much sense. But Bobby Zielinski comes home in the second spot, and you have our last podium finisher there, Johnny. That's Mr. Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, we'll grab him in just a moment's time. So that was actually... No, he's just been grabbed in for me. But so that was actually Bobby's... he tied his career best result. So good on Bobby Zelensky. For Nathan Lyon, I did get my facts wrong. It wasn't his career best result. He did finish second at Lucas Oil last year. But for him, it's his season best result. And Nathan, how about that, mate? You finally make a feature and you get a podium out of it. What an event for you.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I really enjoy the track. It's one of my favorites, next to IRP, which is Lucas Oil, and also Phoenix as well.
Yeah, we can tell you go well at Lucas Oil. You've had 2 other podiums over there, of course. But for you today, was there any approach that you, or a different mindset you came in for this round? Do you think the V-dub helped? I've heard some word that people who drive that Volkswagen would fare a little bit better here at Iowa. Do you think that helped with pace?
Yeah, I think it did actually. It seems to grab a lot better on the asphalt than the Subaru does, with it being all-wheel drive. So I think I had that to my advantage today. And also the fact that people had jokered earlier than me. I had a fresh track and not only my heat, but the feature as well. So I was able just to click off some lap times on my own and just kind of pace myself.
And how's the season going for yourself? I know last season you were definitely working with Michael Guest quite closely. Are you doing the same for 2019? We haven't spoken to you much this season.
Yeah, we have the same tribal alliance as last season. It's me, Guest, Matt Adams, clamp it, and we all kind of work together on setups and just the tracks in general. Mitchell puts up some sessions a couple nights before. We all wear it out a ton, get used to the worn out track together, which is really fun.
Yeah, and that's a big key, isn't it, for 2019, is that worn track, and it really suits, I think, isn't it the Fiesta it suits the best, doesn't it, in feature race conditions? The Volkswagen's a bit in the middle.
Yeah, it just depends, I think, on some tracks, how much dirt there is on the track. With this track, there's only just a one corner with the dirt, which is the first corner, and that wears out pretty quick. So it becomes the Fiesta and Beetle playground more than the Subaru.
And finally, we'll let you go, but who gets it done for you, of course, in that number 47 machine? It's been such not the best season for you, so it's actually really good to get an interview out of yourself for once.
Yeah, it is for sure. iRacing and Thrustmaster, of course, are playing on the series, the Tribal Alliance, so Clampit, Guest, and Matt. Mitchell for pin up all the sessions so I can go in the night before and practice. Dead Zone Racing, and of course, you guys for the awesome broadcast.
So there he is, Nathan Lyon, who, as we said, not a career best result for himself. He did finish second at Lucas Oil last year, but his third podium of his career. And Randy, next week we head to a circuit called Sonoma, and it's a circuit that we all love. It's a circuit that all the drivers love in Rallycross. Definitely my number one favorite for the Rallycross universe, and unfortunately, only 3 rounds to go, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming down to the end of the things, aren't we? But you're right, Sonoma, like I said, you could argue it's the only true repeat because it and, obviously the other Sonoma night are the only, the same layout. You could argue Daytona Long is different, and same with Atlanta Short, even though most of them are the same lap. But I mean, Sonoma's going to be a good one, but this championship I think is still wide open. I think we're still waiting on officially updated points, but Sammy Matty Trogan is definitely going to come out of here as a championship points leader. Matter of fact, I see them. 59 points is actually the gap. Actually, surprisingly, Mitchell de Jong did not jump Josh Fox. Josh currently sits second in the points at 344. Mitchell in third at 327. Sammy Matty Trogan at 403. So Mitchell is within a race. The only question I have here, Johnny, and it seems like week in, week out, Sammy tends to get involved in an incident. I know there's maybe some drivers feeling that maybe he's caused some. He's gotten tangled up in others. I think that could be the downfall for Sammy Matty Trogan. I think if you're constantly getting into it with other cars, eventually you're going to be getting the short stick of that and something's going to break. It'd be interesting to see if maybe that ends up coming to get him towards the last half of this championship, because last couple times we've seen him miss the feature, I think that's pretty much exactly what's happened. He's gotten into an incident at the start that shuffled him right down the order.
Yeah, exactly, and you never know. Maybe a penalty might come, although we've only seen one penalty all season, and that went to John Robertson today. But you never know if that will come into the fray. But for those guys of Fox, Harth, and Robertson, have you ever seen such a collapse of a... as you know, I watch a lot of Formula One. I remember Fernando Alonso in 2012 had a 40-point championship lead midway through the season and still managed to lose that championship. I couldn't believe today that had Sammy Matty Trogan made one small error, we could have easily seen all of the drivers in front of de Jong, all 4 of those drivers, not make the feature. So that would have been bizarre. I've never seen anything like it in motor racing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, there's been a couple examples this year of championship contenders and the Dirt Oval Championships missing a feature, but you're right. We haven't all season, we haven't seen everyone just completely a whiff basically on a week, and it's like everyone basically takes a goose egg for the day, which is essentially what happened here. And that's the only thing. That's why I still think, even though Sammy's got such a huge advantage in terms of points, it's nearly a full race over Josh Fox. It basically is a full race over Mitchell de Jong. I don't think you can rule either of those guys in second or third, or maybe even the likes of Johan Hart out, or Joni Heikkinen as well, actually. Joni Heikkinen, it was a good day for him. He ends up tying Johan Hart for 5th in the points, so he's close. Otto Taskinen is close as well. Sammy or Josh, if one of those guys up near the top, if they miss one race, Sammy in particular, if they miss one feature, everyone P2 through about P7 is suddenly back in it for this championship if they can put in a good week at the same time.
And of course, Sammy Matty Trogan, very hungry for that championship. He brought a sim, and they built a sim for him in South Africa just so he could maintain his championship lead in this series. Now, these 600 horsepower Rallycross cars will be back racing again next week, of course. That will be on the 16th of November. And that's where we head to the ever beautiful, lovely, brilliant, elegant, illustrious Sonoma Raceway. And that will be for the second time this season. It's the only time we visit the same second layout for the second time this season, and it hosts the 7th round of 9 for the 2019 Thrustmaster iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Coverage will begin at 5:45 p.m. GMT as usual on RaceBot TV, streaming live on the iRacing Esports Network, and of course all our associated platforms, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or anywhere else, even Facebook, of course. Thanks for joining us today. Visit racebot.tv and iRacing.com for more information on upcoming events, and you can also take part in Rallycross itself. So get yourself an iRacing subscription and join in on all the fun. But from myself, Jonathan Simon on hand at the commentary booth, Randy Cheneth alongside me, Paul Smith, our producer behind the scenes, and our entire RaceBot TV crew, we hope you enjoyed this RaceBot TV presentation broadcasted on our associated platforms. Our winner today, Mitchell de Jong, and we say so long from Iowa.